Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the 615 Prep Scoreboard. Chris, Scott, Cam, and Joe here with you. Good Saturday morning. Nice outside. Got some good college football coming up here in a little bit. We've got some scores we need to talk about and some games and some highlights to go over here this morning. Guys, everybody awake?
Barely.
Some fun
Zach, go
ones last
on
night and
here.
some not so fun ones.
Oh, Joe's got a little. I didn't know what was going on there for a minute.
Cat, man. She just decides she has to be the center of attention. So, go away. Yeah, I'm happy that the week's over. A lot of good games last night, a lot of ugly games last night, but yeah, we're on to week 8.
Yeah, this
Yeah, there
week
was.
I talked about, there's a lot of playoff games in week 7. A lot of teams fighting for their playoff lives, and we saw a couple teams really take on that playoff mode. We saw a team that, I know I thought they were pretty much eliminated already, and they found a way to get it done and beat a team they've never beaten, and now they're right back in the mix.
We're firing up the Instagram stream here just a moment. It didn't fire off like it needs to, so that will be on here momentarily. Yeah, Joe, we were over at Brentwood last night. Brentwood and Franklin, basically a rock fight between those two teams.
Yeah, which is what we expected. Just defensive slugfest from the get-go. We kind of said whoever scored the night's first points would win. That's what happened, even though Franklin made it a game in the fourth quarter. Just an ugly game. If you like defense, though, it was the game for you. So, yeah, Brentwood, massive win last night. Franklin, not quite there yet, but they're getting close.
Good morning, Matt. Yeah, the Beach get put in the driver's seat last night, 100%.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're in the driver's seat. It might be an actual bus driver's seat, not a regular car driver's seat.
Well, driver's seat, whether it's a bus, a tank, or 18-wheeler. I'd rather be driving.
It's definitely going to be a tank, not so much a sports car. They will just flat out run you over.
We're good on Instagram now, Chris.
Yeah, finally got that one fired up. So let everybody kind of funnel in here, and then we'll get ready to show some highlights here. Yeah, Thursday night, some interesting ones too. And matter of fact, let's go ahead and fire those up. Cam, you and our boy Tyson were over at East Robertson for a good old fashioned slugfest between Westmoreland and East Robertson.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to have here as Tyson was on video, but I think this is opening drive for East Robertson. Casey Young extends the drive. Drive carries into the second quarter. This is Caleb McNeil frozen in action as he dives into the end zone. And this right here was the story of the night. Defense, and defense. Good run by Matthew Martin here. And then this Cade Brooks coming at you. Big gainer, couldn't hardly stay in bounds. Big play right here, 3rd and 6, and they hit the only pass completion of the night for Westmoreland. Takes the ball inside East Robertson territory, sets up Cooper White trying to get in there. I think this is the they had it 4th and goal right there at the 2. Bad snap resulted in turnover on downs. This is the drive at the end of the game. K. Perry, big long run as he's scrambling. Zach Groves chases him down. Second pass completion of the night here to Cooper White, gets him down to the inside the 5, and then on 1st and goal, Cooper White with a convoy comes right at Tyson there for a touchdown. Extra point's good. Take a 7-6 lead, and this is at the end of the game. He's barely out of bounds right here. You can't hardly see it because the Westmoreland coaches. I was on the other end, but he's a matter of about 3 inches from taking that to the house. So just a great small class physical football game. Both teams didn't play perfect. both coaches, I'm sure, would tell you that they made some mistakes. But this was a slobber knocker type game, and that's what we expected. We expected a tight one, as these two teams historically the last 3, 4, 5 years have played really close games. Uh, but Westmoreland biggest win in probably 15 or 20 years for them. They are in the driver's seat for a region championship. Would be the first region championship since 2006.
Yeah, they one more win, right, Chris? And they clinch the region. I think they have 2 games left, and I think both of them are winnable.
It's
For
Smith
them,
County and
but-
Trousdale.
They got
Yeah.
Trout. They got Smith next, I believe.
Yeah, Smith next, and then Trousdale. They win one of those, and I believe that they clinch the region.
Yeah, they would just need one more win to do that, with holding tiebreakers over East Robertson and Monterey and all the key players at the top of that region. So, yeah, they're
Right.
one win away from that. But, yeah, 7-6 win for Westmoreland, and East Robertson drops to 6-1 with that loss out of the unbeaten ranks. And, these two teams may be on a collision course to a quarterfinal matchup in 2A. Could be interesting. Given Westmoreland would host it if that was the case.
Oh, shots fired early.
What we got? Yeah. Oh,
Fired early.
Matt's on it this morning. It's not even Joe.
I just want y'all to know Trousdale County's keeping these receipts.
Ink does fade after a while, though. Just FYI.
Yeah.
More Thursday night fun. Riverdale 37-0 over Cane Ridge. The Warriors are quiet 6-1.
Yeah, very well could be 7-0 right now if a monsoon doesn't happen. But they're setting up a massive game with Blackman here in 2 weeks, guys. I mean, that 2 spots right there for the taking. Blackman, their record's deceiving, a lot of close losses, but Riverdale, they have not missed a beat despite losing the likes of Brock Montgomery and Brady Graham last year.
And their defense is just playing outstanding right now.
Yep. Smyrna knocks off East Nashville in a wild one, 36-33.
Yeah.
Huge night for DJ Barksdale. He had 5 tackles, a sack, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, added 2 rushing touchdowns. Big night for Barksdale and the Bulldogs.
That's a full night for them. Bulldogs now 4-3. East Nashville, second loss of the season. They fall to 5-2.
Yeah, dealing with a lot of injuries on that team. No KJ Johnson last night.
Yep. Nolensville 17-0 winners at Hillsboro. The Knights 5-2 and still perfect in region play with that one.
Yeah, Nolensville, insanely great run right now because, I mean, they beat Centennial last week, and this week they basically clinched the 2 in the region this week with this win over Hillsboro. They got paid at the end of the year. We'll see how that goes, but big win for the Knights. They just keep on rolling. Very underrated team.
Yep. McGavick gets a key win over Laverne in that race for that 4 spot in Region 5-6A. They win 15-6.
Big win for the Raiders. That kind of guarantees them a playoff spot, doesn't it? Yeah.
It puts them in a position to get one, but not yet.
Gotcha.
Still several region games to go for those. They've only played 3 so far. Oakland 42-7 winners over Siegel. The Patriots 7-0.
Yeah.
Juwan Morris is back. He's back, and I truly don't care that he missed 4 games, 5 games, whatever it is. Like, if he puts up 2 to 3 touchdowns every game until the end of the regular season, he needs to be in the Mr. Football conversation.
No, and to tell you the truth, this is scary for anybody that's going to be playing Oakland down the road because their passing game is just getting better and better. Kyler Creasy went a perfect 13 of 13 for 259 yards and 3 scores in this game. So
you're saying you pull the Jared Goff just without the receiving touchdown.
Right.
Indy 37 over to nothing, and the Eagles keep their playoff hopes alive with that win.
They just need a win over Summit now, and they're in the postseason.
Yep.
Yeah, good job on the defense. Only allowed 144 total offensive yards to Overton. and only 7 first downs. So defensively, they really came out in this game.
In a similar vote, Rockvale gets a key region win over Coffee County 21-7.
Big win for the Rockets here. Shut down the scoring. Get 14 on the board in the second half. Turned over Coffee County. The second half was all Rockets. Turned them over twice. Big win for the Rockets here.
Battle of Creeks at Stewart's Creek that takes it 35-7 over West Creek.
Stewart's Creek just keeps on rolling. Big one against Smyrna in 2 weeks for that region title. The Red Hawks look good right now.
Yeah, that Red Hawk Trinity, Caleb Floyd, Jeremy Smith, and Jerry Taylor, 325 and 5 scores in that game.
Hunters Lane wins at Stratford big 48-12.
Yeah, this game was called early. It was called with 2 minutes to go with Hunters Lane up due to some issues on the field. Obviously not what you want to see, but Hunters Lane 2 wins. Stratford just reeling at the moment.
That's a huge night for Isaiah McGill, running back for Hunters Lane. 22 carries, 185, 4 scores on the night. Plus he had interception return for a touchdown. Big game for him.
Ravenwood, the business trip to Summit, they take care of business 45-0. It's the 100th career victory for head coach Will Hester.
Then in dominant fashion, this game was over within the first 4 minutes.
Whites Creek battled for a little while, but Pearl-Cohn eventually pulled away and wins 44-6.
Javion Kennard, huge in the second half. He had multiple touchdowns. Whites Creek, that youth is showing right now. They need to bounce back this week against a GCA team coming off a win, but Pearl-Cohn, they just keep winning since there was those struggles early in the season.
We're going to go back to this one because we got Antioch Mount Juliet highlights coming up, Joe.
Yeah, the Bears and the Golden Bears. The Golden Bears on a run right now, 6-0 to start the season, hosting a reeling Antioch team. Weird play here. Don't know what the punter was thinking. Just get that ball off. This gives Mount Juliet great field position. They turn it into a field goal here by Mr. Automatic himself, Daniel Echeverria. He kicked it over the net. Mount Juliet's defense came to play here. They sack Andre Adams, forcing an Antioch punt. The Golden Bears get the ball once the video stops freezing. There we go. Tyler Travers punches it in the end zone for the night's first touchdown. Echeverria, another field goal here, not by Daniel. This is by Tate Meribitz, who knocks it in. Picked here. Huge play by Sam Aldenwar for Antioch. Yeah, I saw a comment that made me laugh. Interception here at the end of the half. Video is very laggy today.
It is.
That would ultimately set up Mount Juliet's second touchdown as Travers connects with Isaiah Roseberry for the touchdown. Antioch, not a whole lot they can do here. Tyler Travers gets sacked here by Takai Whitsitt, which poor kid. Mount Juliet gets another touchdown here. That ultimately does it. Antioch gets a touchdown at the very end of the game on the legs of Andre Adams. But Mount Juliet, no issues in this game. They win 26-8.
Yeah, I saw the stat earlier, but that they held Andre Adams under 100 yards passing. Does that sound right?
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
It was a rough game for Antioch. They need this. They need this bye week.
Yeah, they really just couldn't get going much offensively until that last drive.
Oh, they don't have a bye week. They got CPA this week. Sorry.
Yeah, that's definitely not a bye week.
They get a bye week next week.
Yeah, they need to
my
get to their bye week, but there's a big hurdle in front of them.
It's still a good Antioch team. They just they play a brutal schedule.
They really do.
And good teams usually do.
Yeah, it'll benefit them. It'll benefit them once they get to the postseason. But yeah, right now, Stewart's Creek running that region at the moment. Smyrna kind of right there, and then that Antioch Smyrna game is going to be big for the 2 spot.
Yep. Blackman, no trouble with Pier Youth Academy, 49-0 for the Blaze, and they're 4-3 with that one.
Blackman never started a drive on their own side of the field. Their worst field position was the 50.
Goodness.
That's a productive night. Speaking of productive nights, Brentwood Academy, no trouble on homecoming with Innovation Academy, 52-0.
Yeah, to the surprise of no one, the Eagles roll. Innovation Academy just taking their lumps. It is what it is.
Got to pay the tax.
Cannon County gets a win over Cornersville, 16-14.
Cornersville had an opportunity at the end for a game-winning field goal. I believe they missed it. Cannon County quietly 4-3.
Yep.
Lipscomb Academy goes to Missouri, but comes back with a 14-point loss.
Yeah, Christian Brothers kind of took control of this one early. Lipscomb scores late, but this Lipscomb defense giving up quite a few points lately, which is kind of not what we expected.
Columbia Academy shuts out Clarksville Academy 33-0.
Yeah, Monte Baldwin, big one this week against Nashville Christian though, so big test for both them and the Eagles.
Yeah, it's been a rough year for the Cougars. They're just incredibly young.
Cookeville takes down Gallatin 45-29.
Gallatin led this game for a little bit, and then Cookeville finally got going in the second half. A safety kind of does them in, and then Cookeville just rolls.
Yeah, it was 21-21 midway through the third, so Cookeville found something late that allowed them to pull away.
Yeah, Blake Owen, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground, threw for another 167 and a touchdown. So, Blake Owen happened to him.
CPA takes care of Webb School 54-6. The Lions now 7-0 with a win.
They just keep rolling. I mean, it's simple as that. It's what a well-oiled machine looks like.
Yeah, it's going to be, they'll have their first, not their first test, but they'll have a little bit bigger test this week against Antioch.
Yeah, Marshall County takes care of Creekwood 35-13. The Tigers now basically neck and neck with Pearl Cone in that region.
Close for a little bit. Marshall County just too talented. Creekwood's defense really held them in check until later in the game.
FRA goes on the road and takes care of Davidson Academy 51-14.
I don't even think it was this close, guys. FRA just rolling at the moment. And they massive one against BGA this week, though.
Mount Pleasant had been playing really good football up until this week. They go to DCA, and then DCA takes care of them 44-6.
This one shocked me. I thought this would be a close game. Mount Pleasant's not a bad team. DCA, sure, they're kind of kicking themselves after that Columbia Academy loss because this is a good team.
I think that is, that Mount Pleasant caught them at exactly the wrong time. Yep. They're mad and they wanted to assert themselves, and unfortunately, Mount Pleasant was the roadblock in the way.
Tight one over in Dixon, but Rossview escapes 18-15.
Tyson nearly made us all look bad with this pick, but Rossview saves our tails.
Well, we knew this was going to be a defensive battle. Both teams have really good defenses. Rossview just outlasted them.
On to some more highlights, Joe. We're over in Brentwood for these.
Yeah, honestly, struggled to find highlights. Luke Thompson here for Franklin with the interception as Brentwood was driving. That was huge because it kept Brentwood out of the end zone early on when it looked like the first team that scored would win. Brentwood eventually is the first team that scores. They punch it in here. That is Landon Okla. JC White here bouncing off guys like he's in a pinball machine. Gets Brentwood down. They'll eventually turn this drive into points as well. Field goal here. Right now it's all Bruins. They're up 10-0. However, Franklin, they punch it down. It was a whole lot of Sean Gaka on this drive. He punches it in. Fun fact via our friend Tyson. He is the only person from Franklin that scored on Brentwood since 2020, I think. So Luke Thompson here with his second interception of the game. Momentum's flipped to Franklin's side here. This is in the fourth quarter. They're they're getting it going finally. The Admirals would end up settling for a field goal here, makes it 10-9. The ensuing kickoff disaster nearly strikes for Brentwood. Clayton Merrill instead takes it nearly to the house, and then Gavin Nelson here punches it in for 6 more, put Brentwood up 17-9. And then last play of the game, huge shot here by William Turner, recovered by David Krivaka, and all Brentwood 17-9. The Bruins clinch at least a top 2 spot in that region, and Franklin, they're solidly in the 3, you would think at this point.
Yep. And a lot of Shangak on a couple of those drives. They were without Brewer Wilson on several drives, especially late in the fourth quarter, but Wilson did come back in, and unfortunately that strip sack kind of sealed Franklin's fate there. But still a good Franklin team, and one that is going to give somebody a problem in the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
Brentwood just kind of grinding it out to 6-1. I mean, maybe the quietest 6-1 team around.
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't argue with that.
Easily, them and Stewart's Creek. I mean, their only losses to Brentwood Academy in week 2. They've had a close call against Tenry County. This Brentwood team's good. They're really good defensively. Offensively, admittedly, there's a lot left to be desired. They remind me a lot of the Brentwood team 2 years ago, where offensively they had their struggles. They were stout defensively, though. And this is really the same group. And we were talking about it last night, Chris. Ravenwood was there watching. If you're a Ravenwood Raptor and you're watching that game, you got to kind of like what you see, especially with your offense.
Yep.
What a job Clint Finch is doing. This was we paused this for a cute break. No, Clint Finch is doing a tremendous job with Brentwood. This is a team that came in with several question marks because of graduations, and they've done nothing but continue to improve and play extremely well.
Eagleville rolls over Tennessee Heat 35-0. They're 4-3.
Good win for the Eagles. They not a bad team. Not a bad team. That region, I mean, they're still looking at a good playoff shot just because of how weird that region is.
What was it Caleb Snitzer? 3 touchdowns?
Yep. I think you skipped past Ensworth there, Chris.
I think I did. Let's go back to it. Ensworth entertains First Baptist out of Florida and sends them back home with a shutout loss.
This game was all about the Ensworth defense. The Tigers defense did a tremendous job. Their run game had some difficulties, but Taylor Hasselbeck with a couple of really strong throws. But the Ensworth defense really asserted themselves against a First Baptist team that's really not as bad as the score indicates.
Ensworth has given up 6 points in the last 4 weeks. Defense is really good.
Yeah, and with what we saw with the battle of the small universities in Chattanooga, I mean, Ensworth may we thought that they were our best shot in the 615 area. Guys, I think it's becoming more realistic that they may be able to make a run at this thing.
Cam, can we call that D4 down there?
Yeah, they're the great 615 hope.
Gordonsville goes on the road to Forest and wins 36-19.
Second half, this game was all Gordonsville. This game was, I believe, 21-19 at the half, if I'm not mistaken. Gordonsville has discovered another back that had 2 long runs, Jamario Williams. Really good running threat, really quick on the edges. Really good win for Gordonsville here.
Potential game of the year candidate and one you wouldn't have expected. Friendship Christian 52, Providence Christian 51.
PCA is just looking better and better every week, guys. I mean, Cam, you mentioned it last night when Chris and I went live. This is a team that in a couple of years they could be competing for a gold ball.
Oh, no doubt. 972 yards of total offense, 103 points, and only Carlando Barton's 2-yard run and a Luke Sellers 2-point conversion was scored in the fourth quarter. But in a losing effort, Tate Marks 371 yards passing and 7 scores, 7 touchdown passes for Providence Christian.
Friendship Christian, the front runner in that East region in D2A with that win, but Providence Christian, just put some teams on notice.
Mm-hmm.
Giles County over Watertown 42-21, and the Purple Tigers still taking their lumps this year.
Their defense is just not very good. And to put it bluntly, they just give up a ton of points every week, and they're missing like Isaac Leadham back there leading the defense or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Giles County not having as good a season as they usually would. Still putting up 42 on Watertown and holding Watertown to 21. Watertown's offense is good. Blake Wardorf is good, but Watertown just not there yet, especially because of that defense.
And that offense, though, is still really young. Waldorf is a sophomore. Jesse Bratcher, his main target, which is a top 5 receiver in the Middle Tennessee area. Or it actually might be the state. He's a junior, so this Watertown team's looking. Their future looks bright.
Centennial, no trouble with Glencliff 64-0.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, frustration released.
Yeah.
White House Heritage 42-14 over Glencliff.
Oh, let's see. Another big night for once again. Just the weekly player of the week candidate.
X gonna give it to you.
Yeah, X going to give it to you. 15-18, 205, and 5 scores. It's just Eric. Was it Eric Rodriguez?
Eric Lopez.
Lopez, sorry. Eric Lopez had another big night. Greenbrier's just having a tough year. Graduated quite a few seniors from that team. But White House Heritage, they can light up a scoreboard.
Heritage now 5-2 with that win. Lewis County knocks off Harpeth 53-27. Harpeth had been playing pretty good ball up to this point.
Lewis County, they. I was giving you crap about this one last night, Chris, because you picked Harpeth. I was like, why did you pick against Lewis County?
Again, Harpeth had been playing good ball up to this point, so
excuses.
Want to know what happened? They just made my list. So Springfield led this game for a long time, but Hendersonville found a way to win it 27-21.
Yeah, it's a heartbreaker for the Yellow Jackets. And God, I mean, we'll talk about another one that caused chaos in this region here in a bit. But I mean, this one, Springfield had a golden opportunity to take a top 2 spot in this region.
Yeah, a 15-point fourth quarter for Hendersonville with a late Riley Cooper score. The problem was that they just refused to go quietly. They would get behind the chains and get a first down and just grind, and kept the ball out of Springfield playmakers' hands for a lot of the game, just grinding, drives and then getting the payoff. It was just a really gutsy performance by the Commandos.
Yeah, they're 5-2 in this and 2-1 in this region, and the next game we're going to talk about is the one that caused the chaos, because look at Portland going on the road to Paris and beating Henry County 21-14.
Wow. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we said it early. Well, I know a couple of us have, and me and Joe got to see Portland in week 1 against White House, and this is the most physical Portland team they've had in a long time. And they got multiple guys that can hurt you. But was not expecting this. This was the team that I kind of preluded to at the start of the show. They were all but dead. They're very much alive.
Yep.
Yeah, Portland held Henry County to 182 yards of offense, guys. I mean, that's huge. The biggest issue with Portland this year, and you look in their losses to the likes of Davidson Academy and Springfield to an extent, and Beach just kind of rolled after they got down early. But you look in those losses, turnovers killed them. They didn't beat themselves in this game. They made the plays when it mattered. Keelan Dalton is a stud. He's going to be somebody we're keeping an eye on. Kid's a freak athlete. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is a massive win for Portland. And after the loss to Springfield, you're thinking to yourself, man, this team's kind of dead in the water when it comes to the playoff. No, they're right there in the mix. This keeps them alive, and to do it on the road at Henry County, nonetheless, is even more impressive.
Yeah.
And the fashion. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Chris.
The game against Hendersonville still to come in this region. They hold their fate in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
This was, the fashion in which they won, I think, has got to build confidence. They're down 14-13, and they with 43 seconds left, and get a 51-yard reception on to beat to Keelan Dalton, as Joe was saying. The kid is just amazing. You're right, Chris. This Portland team has their future in their hands, and they served notice with this game.
Mm-hmm. Probably the biggest win for Portland, I would venture to guess in close to 2 decades.
Yeah,
I think everybody in Robertson County and Sumner County were Portland Panther fans last night.
No
kid.
You can root for him.
Yeah, it's crazy because we'll talk about this a little more on Wednesday's show, but it's like Beach is just kind of kings at the top right now, which is what it is, and then that 2 through 4 spots ridiculous. Mm-hmm. It's going to be absurd.
Yeah, when you come back to us on Wednesday night, we'll talk about some of those regions that are a bit scrambled right now and how they might get unscrambled over the final 4 weeks of the season. Hickman County knocked off Cheatham County 21-6. The Cubs just suffering through a tough season. They're 0-7.
Yeah, Hickman County kind of thought they might win this game because they tested a really good East Hickman side. Just not Cheatham County's year.
Yeah.
All right, one more set of highlights to go through, Cam. They're all years up in Lafayette because our spotlight game was a battle of tigers between DeKalb County and Macon County.
Yeah, Macon County wearing the red. Super excited to get to see that in person.
Is that open?
Opening drive, 3 plays right down the field. Gabe Borders takes it in. Macon County leads 7-0 early in the first quarter.
Okay, got some freezing going on here. Apologies for that, folks. Not sure what's going on this morning.
And then DeKalb answers back. Wild play here. Jordan Parker finds Cecil Ketchum, which hands the ball to John Hendricks, which walks into the end zone for a touchdown. Tied up 7-7 midway of the first.
In frame by frame because for some reason it is frozen on us.
Well, this was about like the service last night in Macon County. I couldn't.
You may just want to talk about this one because
we're just going to go ahead and
check out the highlights on YouTube. They're up.
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah. We're just going to throw this up here. 49-27 Macon. Cam, let's talk about this because this was a back and forth game throughout 3 quarters, and then Macon decides they're just going to pull away from it.
Well, it was really back and forth. The first half was kind of what I expected. It's kind of a shootout style first half where Macon County found themselves turning the ball over. I think it was 3 times, 2 times in the first half, once in the second half. DeKalb gets the ball. DeKalb takes a 24-14 lead into the half. They have all the momentum. Macon looks defeated for the most part, and DeKalb comes out, gets the ball first in the second half, goes over 6 minutes down the field. They have to settle for a field goal, and they take a 27-14 lead. Macon County rattles off 35 unanswered, and it was big play after big play after big play. Zach Borders really sparked the team, but the play that really turned the game was an 80-yard quarterback keeper by Luke Gammon. Just kind of a read play where the linebackers flowed with the motion, and he kept it, and nobody was in the middle of the field, and he was gone. And then an 89-yard touchdown run by Zach Borders midway through the fourth gave him a 2-touchdown lead. And then with 2 minutes to go, Macon winds up blocking a punt and scooping and scoring for the final score of 49-27. Just a massive win for the Tigers, a very important win for the Tigers. They kind of put themselves in a hole losing to White County last week. And now I'm not going to say they're out of the hole, but they have life. They have a route to that 2 spot. They will need a little help, but it is possible. And ultimately the story continues for Macon County. They've yet to, and he preached it to them after the game. They've yet to put together 4 quarters.
Yeah.
And ultimately that's, we talked about, is this the best Macon County team ever at the start of the year? Well, we don't know because we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zach Borders 219 yards rushing in this game. You have to wonder, is Gabe getting all the attention? But you can't do that. You gotta account for everybody on this Macon County team. I think it's a huge statement to go down at halftime like they were, and then even more so, and then make this comeback. It's got to be a huge confidence boost for the Tigers after they had such a heartbreaking loss. It really wasn't heartbreaking. It was just a dominant loss to White County.
Yeah, DeKalb County is still very much in that playoff fight too, but they are not by any means in yet. They're going to have to battle for those playoff spots. They're going to probably be on the road in the postseason after this loss, though.
Yeah, oddly enough, the help that Macon needs to get back to the 2 spot would be DeKalb County. DeKalb County's got to beat White County, and Macon has to win out.
Ezo Harding shut out at Kings Academy 44-0. The Eagles now 2-5 after losing the region opener. MBA gets a late one over Knoxville Catholic 24-23. The Big Red. And it's an important win for them.
They led for most of this game. Knox Catholic takes the lead late. NBA responds with a great scoring drive of their own. Take the lead with under 50 or around 50 seconds remaining, and then they hold on. So, big road win. Big road win for the Big Red.
Yeah, absolutely. They needed this win.
We pause for a moment to remember the Page shutout streak, which ended last night.
Yeah, made it 14-6, and then they rattled off 35 straight. So, Chris, I think you said, couldn't they? There's a chance they'll get scored on again. That's just how high school football works. But that pressure is off their back. They can just play football. They were playing football already, but now they can just be like, all right, we got scored on. It is what it is. So, good luck to the rest of the teams on their schedule.
Toby nails it.
Yep.
Focus on the big picture. They can go play with their hair on fire like they usually do, and no, the consequences giving up points aren't that great when you're beating teams by 35 or 40 points. So,
I believe they had 3 interceptions in that game. Justin Bruce had one of his own. Knight Wilson had one. So, Page defense really good. Lawson just outmatched.
Yep. Clay County knocks off Joe Burns 45-21. Red Devils fall to 0-2 with that region loss.
Yeah, the good thing, there's nothing to take away from a loss like this, but in this region where there are only 4 teams, it doesn't devastate them as far as playoffs go.
Yeah,
but Clay County's a good team. They are a really good team.
Yep. BGA's a really good team too. 61-10 over JP2.
Oh, nice segue, Chris. Nice segue.
Getting better at him.
Kane Marigold had a monster game last night. BGA FRA, man, that one I'm excited. I'm very, very excited to see how that one's going to go down. In a really light week next week, that's going to be a good one, boys.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Where's that one at?
BGA.
Is that BGA? Oh.
Yep. Kenwood gets off the list. They are 1-5 after a 33-22 win over Northeast. Knights no longer winless.
No, they have a good opportunity to win back-to-back this week. They're just a little bit ahead of those Northeast and Northwest. So
Kirkwood, big over Liberty Creek 35-7. Cobras are 6-1.
Cobra Kai.
Yeah, Gavin Hunter, a solid night, 95 yards receiving, 2 scores. He added 5 tackles and a 55-yard pick 6. But with this win, the big news is that Kirkwood guaranteed their first winning season in the program's short history.
Huge game this Thursday.
Yep, that region is going to hinge on what happens Thursday night between Kirkwood and Clarksville. Fairview on the road.
Is Kirkwood a top 2 spot in that region now?
So
That's awesome.
they lost to
Dixon.
Kirkwood still has Rossview to play.
No,
Kirkwood beat
they
Rossview.
beat them last week. Yeah, so they have to be
Dixon has since lost to Rossview and Clarksville.
They are set up to finish second if expectations hold.
That is one of the regions we'll try to make sense of Wednesday night.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. Fairview 35-21 over Montgomery Central. The Yellow Jackets 4-3. Montgomery Central, no winning streak for them. They fall 1-6. Grace Christian 56-0 winners at Mount Juliet Christian. Their second win of the year for the Lions. Saints dropped to 3-4 and winless in region play.
That was kind of an eyebrow raiser for me. Grace Christian being able to putting up that many points on Mount Juliet Christian.
Middle Tennessee Christian, no luck with South Pittsburgh, 49-0. South Pittsburgh comes away with a win there.
Hey, don't look now. I know they're not in our area, but don't look now. But the defending 1A champs are finding the groove.
Yep. And that one didn't surprise me in the least.
Oh, hey, speaking of finding a groove, Father Ryan did. They beat MUS 27-21.
Sets up a really important game against Innsworth next week. Talked about before the show.
Yep.
One of the better coaching jobs around for
Yep.
the Irish. So this is a team that beat Brentwood Academy, and I don't think they won another game last year. So they've turned things around big time.
Yep.
Yeah, Coach Rector's done a tremendous job. Losing a great receiver and their starting quarterback, and being able to go on a run like this is pretty doggone good.
Yeah, one had to wonder after they ended the streak against NBA what the effects of that would be, but that definitely kept the momentum going and put themselves in a good spot. Nashville Christian 43-13 winners over Good Pasture get their second win in 5 days.
Yeah, not often you get a team that has to play on a Monday and then a Friday, but they accepted the challenge and rolled in both games. So I wonder how much they'll practice next week with Columbia Academy. It might be a whole lot of film and walkthroughs so they can get some rest.
Well, truthfully, that was the case with Grace Christian. You may be onto something, Joe.
Teams playing Monday night games. I mean, what a concept. Anyway, Clarksville 41-0 winners over Northwest. We just talked about this region kind of ad nauseum. It's a jumbled mess right now, but next Thursday night we'll have a big impact on how it sorts out.
Clarksville just got so many weapons, and it's hard to point to one. But a big night for Jamarcus Watkins. He had 2 receiving TDs and a 90-yard kickoff return for touchdown. So it's really. They really just have a strong running game, and they have 4 or 5 guys that can carry the rock.
Kind of a surprise here. 38-8 Station Camp over White House.
Not shocked that Station Camp won. I'm shocked by how much they won by, because White House is not a bad team.
They're not. I said it on Wednesday. It took him to week 6 to show up, but he's shown up.
Mm-hmm.
Colton Overby.
Yeah.
And Station Camp's just kind of become that bull in the china shop, or the bison in the china shop, if you will, in this region now, because they're going to have a say on who finishes 3rd and 4th. Maplewood gets a shutout win at Sycamore 13-0. The Panthers now 3-3 with that win.
I hate Tyson. Kept me from getting a told you so. It's fine. Not upset about it. Sycamore, I don't know what's going on with them. Don't know if Hicks Hunter's out or not. But Maplewood, 3 wins on the year. I know they have the forfeit win over Republic. If it counts for Trousdale, it counts for Maplewood. Good for the Panthers. Their most wins in quite a while, guys.
I'll take that trade-off.
It does not count for Trousdale, and it does not count for Maplewood yet, since that game hasn't technically been forfeited. But it's coming. Anyway, moving on. Smith County falls it up in 43-13. Yeah, the Bees looking like that juggernaut in 4A.
Yeah. I think that last year's result is kind of giving them that page attitude this year. They're just going to try to blow through everybody and get back and trade silver for gold.
A couple more from Region 6 4A to talk about. Green Hill 38-0 winners at Warren County. The Hawks 7-0. No trouble with that one.
Yeah, slow start, but they got it together.
And one more for the night. Lebanon 41-6 over Wilson Central. The Blue Devils with a much-needed region win, 2-2 in region play.
Yeah, this pretty much sets up. I think Gallatin still got to play Wilson Central, but looking like Gallatin Lebanon is for the 4 spot.
Yeah,
I think Harrison Edwards had quite a big game. I think maybe 5 touchdowns if comments last night were correct. So
yeah, that's correct. He had 232 yards and 5 touchdowns, 4 on the ground, 1 through the air. Lebanon's offense, total of 374 yards of total offense, and pretty much shut down Wilson Central here.
And that's all. That's all the scores from week 7. And we're almost at that fall break for everybody else. Most teams going to have an off week over the next 2 weeks. So next week's scoreboard will be a little bit shorter. And you will not see me on that show. I will be out for the next 2, actually. So family vacation that's been over a year in the works. And we'll be up in the northwest part of the United States and actually up toward Alaska. So Joe's going to run this show for the next couple of Saturdays, and we'll see how he handles it.
chaos, boys. Chaos.
Don't come back and burn it. Don't let me come back to burnt crisp of the show. Yeah.
You can
But
tell
no.
Chris doesn't trust me.
No comment.
What do you say to that? I mean, it's like, I don't know. Anyway, last word on this week, because it was some surprises, some fun ones, and kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah, it's old Forrest Gump, right? These games are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I put that in my subtitle is, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I mean, I said this week was week 1 of the playoffs for a lot of teams, and you've seen some teams take that literally into account, and you saw some teams that put themselves further in a hole. But at the end of the day, it shoulda, coulda, woulda. Move on to week 8 now, and most teams anyway still control their destiny. They just have to get it together.
Huge win for Portland last night. Win of the week. Good for the Panthers. They caused even more chaos in Hendersonville. Great bounce back win. Didn't see that coming after what I saw last Saturday. That region is chaos, and then there's Beach at the top, just kind of laughing at everybody else.
Yeah, we will we'll discuss that region and several more Wednesday night, 7:00 on 615 Preps Live. Lots to go through. Week 8, kind of the official midpoint of the season, where we're halfway to handing out championships. So it'll be interesting to see with a light schedule next week, kind of how this thing goes. I mean, there's I think roughly 25 area games next week with all the teams that are off. So for those of you who are all off, enjoy the break, and don't forget about us. We're still here. We're still covering games. So for all of us,
be here.
5 Preps, we'll be here, just like Scott said, as long as Joe doesn't burn it down.
I promise nothing.
And deliver nothing.
I do like the hoodie, Joe.
I can't.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
nice hoodie. It's nice hoodie.
Genty for Heisman.
Yeah. All right.
As it should be.
We are done for the 615 Prep Scoreboard this Saturday morning. Enjoy your weekend. We will see you soon enough on 615 Preps Live. Wednesday night, 7:00 right here. All these same channels, our YouTube channel, X, Facebook, Instagram Live, and Twitch. For Scott, Cam, Joe, and the other faceless ones who are not here, I'm Chris. We'll see you on Wednesday. Have a good one.
Go Vols.